giving me the opportunity to just share with you some of the features of RISE, and today especially the marks module that RISE is developing so that you can eventually have your full assessment report able to email and also to post on the communicator. And if you look at your agenda, you will see that there are three other items that we're going to do first, and I will now get into that. And so I'll just cut out my video and also share my screen. Okay, so I hope everybody can see the screen.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so the first item on the agenda is, in fact, let me just open my agenda quickly. And now, if you could just remind me quickly. Sorry, I moved away from it when I shared the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Just what is our first item? Because I'm struggling to find it on my email now.
Sure. The first one is a class list for multiple classes in the alphabetic order needs to be generated, printed out.
Okay, thank you. So up to now, we've been used to generating single class lists in RISE, and I'll take you through getting multiple class lists, and obviously normally we do it per grade. So to do that, we go to school. Just get my system to respond. And from school, we go to students. And I just want to change this for a minute. You are used to seeing this screen where you could put in one class, well, in this case, my class that is ticked is 1B. But what we want to do now is to get multiple classes selected. So I just want to take out the 1B for now. And then we go to more actions. Okay, and we go to configure list. And you will see that where it says class, at the moment, it is selected as equal to, but we want a list of class. So we do the drop down and we say we want the class in a list. And once you've changed that, you click at the bottom on finish editing. And now you will see next to class, it has changed from equal to in list. And you use that drop down. Sorry, you go to the three dots on the side, and we will now go pick up the classes that we want. So you click, after you clicked on the three dots, you will see the value list open, and you click on pick up. And then you will see your list of classes. And I will now go and select my grade 2 classes. So I click on 2A, I hold down my shift key and I click on 2D, and you will see that your screen is turning to pink, selecting them, and I click on select. Okay. And then we can just close this, and you will see in my case, 2A is falling at the bottom, but it doesn't matter. And then you click OK. And then you will see that your 4 grade 2 classes are in the line across classes. And if you scroll down, you will see you've got 2A alphabetically and goes to 2B and so forth. And as we would normally do with any class list, you would go to more actions. And from more actions, you go to output list. And in output list, as before, you will be allowed to select the fields that you want on the class list. So I'm first going to unselect all of them, but I want the name, I want the surname, I want the CMIS number, and in this, excuse me, is there a question? Okay, I want the class, and then let's say in this case, I want the gender and the age as well, and I click OK. And then we can see that we have a list now that is alphabetically per class, and it has all those fields that we selected to include. And what we then, to take that to Excel, you click on the 3 dots in top right, and you click on File. And from File, you can decide to save it or to print it. And I'm not going to go further with that because I think people are used to being able to print or to save once they have configured the list. Okay, so that is how we print multiple class lists in alphabetical order in RISE instead of previously where we only had one class list at a time. Okay, so we can move on to the next item on the agenda, Anna.
All right. The second item is an additional guardian needs to be created for a learner.
Thank you. So once again, we are going to click on School and Students. And let's say we're going to pick a child with surname Hendricks. We know that this learner's so you will see there are 2 learners. Okay, I just want to untick here and then, so all the Hendricks learners in the school will come up. Obviously, if I click on class, you can see now I've got learners from 2B. So let's say we are going to change the information for Liam Cheston Hendricks. We double click on his name and his information will open up. And what we see here in this case, because this is a test site, the primary contact is the first that we have to enter. But if you need to add another contact, so let's put the primary in, and I'm going to say that the primary is the mother, and I'm going to put a cell phone in there, 083, and I'm also going to put a fictitious. So let me just do that over. Fictitious email address in there, and then I can now add a contact. And in this case, we're going to put in, let's say secondary, or you can go to a list. Okay. Sorry, let me just close that. You can put a name in there and make it secondary. And we're going to say that this is the father's details. And we're going to again let's put the same details in for now. So in that way, you can, if you need a third, let's say there's a driver, or there's a grandparent or aftercare person that needs to be contacted, you can just click on add contact every time, and you can add as many contacts for that learner as possible. In our case, we try to always have the mother, the father, the driver, and if there's aftercare, we put the aftercare details. Okay, and then you're going to obviously save and close. And then the learner will now have 2 contacts instead of only 1. Okay, I hope that's clear.
All right. So the third item is parents need to be reminded about settling school fees via the communicator push notification.
Okay, thank you, Anna. So we go again at school, and we go to news. Under school communicator, we go to news. Right, and I'm just going to ask, I did one on the 26th, but I'll do one now. We click on create, and it will give you the date, and you're going to put in the title, and you put in reminder to pay school fees. And then we can put in to make it a push notification. I just want to move that way. You can immediately see that it's under there in black. The moment you put it on as an alert, it will change to red, meaning that the parents will find it as a push notification. And what I would put in here that I'm not going to do now is you can type in, please pay outstanding school fees by latest 7th of April, 2020. and then you can put the school's bank detail, etc. And then you will save, and then you will also be able to post. So if you post it and you save and close, then you will see the top line now is that it gives you the title, and it shows you that it's been posted, and it is also an alert, which means it will give a push notification. If you go into that, then you can unpost. Let's say after the 7th, you can unpost, save and close. And you will see that the tick under posted has disappeared. So you have to post it in order for it to appear on the communicator. And if you have put it on as an alert, it will go through as a push notification. Okay, is that good, Anna?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the fourth one is the marks module. And the first item under the marks module is creating a subject and a new mark type with the max points assigned to it.
Okay, thank you. So the marks module is also under school. And initially, if you go through here, you would see subjects. So if we click on subjects, what we do, many of the things I've already created. But similarly, I'll just quickly do another one to create. You'll see there I created natural sciences. We only use one subject for today as a demo. And under that, you can see that I've created natural sciences, and it is other subject. It's other subject. And under that, I've got one FAT with max marks of 50. So you can create the subject. You can even put an abbreviation. Like many times we use NS for natural science. And in that way, it will be taken over. So that's only one FAT that we created for natural sciences. I just want to show you the create screen. There you're going to put the description in. You're going to put in other subjects. And you are going to put the abbreviation in. You will see that underneath here, we don't have the FAT yet, but I'll show you now where we create the FAT with a maximum, FAT type with a maximum marks that's used in. So we go to school and we go to mark types. And you'll see we've got quite a few here. Because we're going to use FAT1 right through the demonstration, I cannot create another one. It will show me that I've already got a FAT1. But it's actually, if I just now go to create, and we're going to just make this FAT3. And this will be, let's say, for term 4. And then we are going to save and close. So that is how you create a FAT, but I'm going to go further with the FAT1 that we've already created. Okay, there you can see I've got FAT1, and it's quite simple to put that in. Let me go back, and we go to max marks points, marks max points, and you will see there the two things that I've created. I've created the subject natural sciences, and I've created the FAT1, and there you can see the max mark. If I go in this case, when you create it, then you can put the maximum points in as is either prescribed by the department, or if it's an informal assessment, then you can decide what your maximum mark is for that. Sorry, I'm just closing a window. They're cutting grass outside in the street. Okay, so there we save and close. And the next thing with the marks would be the mark sheet. And here, if I go to mark sheet, you'll see I've got two FAT1 term 4s already. I'm going to take the top one. And you can see these are all the learners in 7A. we have the natural sciences FAT1 grade 7, and you've got marks in, but I'm just going to demonstrate to you how you get the marks in there by importing it from an Excel sheet. And before doing that, I maybe just want to show you what the mark sheet looks like before we import. Okay, so I hope everybody can see the mark sheet in front of them in Microsoft Excel.
Yes.
Okay. So there you can see it's a mark sheet with different marks in for 2019, and that is the mark sheet we're going to import the marks from. I'm going to close this again. Okay, so to get the marks in, we're going to click on import, and you will see there's space for the import on the side, and we're going to say open file, select from disk. And in this case, I know that I have left the mark sheet on my desktop. So I click on desktop, on the desktop, click on the name of the file, click open. The file is brought for me to import. I double check that it's the right one. Takes a few moments to import. Okay, so there you see the mark sheet that we just worked on, and you see the maximum mark is 50 that we said. You see the first mark starts on row 9. The marks is in column 6. So you see on this side, the first loading string number is in row 9. Last loading string number is 43. So if I scroll down, you will see that the last number 24 is in row 43. So the system knows exactly where to go look for the marks, and I click load data. Okay, and then once I've done that, I go back and I see that my marks has been imported. And what happens here is the mark was 20 out of 50, and the system automatically converts it to a mark out of 100 to give you the percentages. So that was 20 out of 50 becomes 40 out of 100. And then we post and close. Okay, so we can close this. The next item we're going to look at, we will look under reports and marks. You will see we've got grade averages, mark sheet, merit list, symbol distribution, promotion schedule. So we're going to first look at our grade averages. And we click on run report. Just drop down grade 7. Run report. So in this case, we only have the natural science for term 4 in. And so as the different subjects are loaded, you will get the different subjects with their average marks in there. Okay. The next item we will look at would be a mark sheet itself. And here we've already got 7A natural sciences, and we click run report. And you see, because this was for term 4, the marks that we just imported are on the mark sheet for term 4. And if you go up to the, in the same line as the run report, you will see there's a print function, there's a preview function. So you get a preview of what the mark sheet will look like. And obviously, if you click save and print, it will save it and print it in the format that you want and in the position where you want the folder that you would like to do. Next item we're going to go to is the merit list. And here we see grade 7, and we say run report. And you can see there we've got our mark sheet. And now we have to tell the computer how it wants the marks to be organized. So we say setup, and we go to advanced fields and sorting, but this is also something that can be set up before the time in the system. So we want the total and the percentage to be in descending order. So we click on total and we drag it over, click on percentage, drag that over. I think I left it on ascending, so you'll see the lowest mark is there now. If I go back in and I now say that the total must be descending and the percentage must be descending, then you will find that the top marks at the bottom as a merit list should be. Okay. Next item would be symbol distribution. Once again, grade 7, term 4, run report. And then you get your symbol distribution. That's only for natural science, but all your subjects will be there. Then we go to the promotion schedule. Once again, the run report. And here we have the schedule. And I think the columns, there's only one subject in now, but the columns will look familiar to you in terms of the term, the days absent, years in phase, all the different percentages and codes, previous grade, current grade, and the marks on the side. And if we click on preview, we can print, preview, or save. Click on preview. It gives you an idea of what the promotion schedule will look like with the child's full names and surname, and also the CMIS number as we used to. Okay, and I think the last item that we're looking at is a progress report. And here, assuming that all the marks are correct and we get to the progress reports, you can see we have two options. We can email it to parents, or we can print it. So you can take an individual learner, and when you click email, if the learner's email is set up, it will be in there as a default, the primary, but you can also type in an email address in there and click send, and it will be sent to the individual parent. You can also click on the first one, press Control A to select the whole class or the whole group that is in front of you, and also click email. And once again, if your learner's emails, in our case, we're working on a test site with old learner detail. So if your learner's email addresses are set up in the primary system, then all the email addresses will be there, or it can also be typed in, and you will click send, and it will show you that it's starting to send all the progress reports to the different parents. And we can also go on an individual learner and click post. And when we post, the report will be available for the parent to see on the communicator. So that is the advantage of the system, is that from your mark sheets that you already generated for your school, you import your marks, you've got a full cloud backup of your mark system for every term or for every year. But what takes it beyond what we have now is the fact that you can either post it to the communicator, you can email it to the parents, or you can print as we would normally do. Okay, so those are the functionalities of the mark system as it is at the moment. And our school will be piloting the system for this term, and we will give you feedback on the success of getting it out via email and getting it out via the communicator. Okay, Anna?
All right, thank you so much for the presentation. It was very informative. Would you like to add something, or should we give the space for the attendees to ask questions at this stage?
I think let's get the questions first, and then we can just run through the system for those who are not familiar.
All right. Okay, if you would like to ask a question, you can unmute your microphone. To do so, you just need to click unmute at the bottom of your screen in the left corner, or you can also type your question in the chat window.
Are there any questions?
Hi, it's, I've got a question with regards to the mark schedule. When you insert the maximum mark, there's usually on the old schedules that the department issues us, there's also a section where they insert the weighted percentage per task, per FAT. Does the system allow us to do that as well?
Yes, I just want to show you, I think I might have skipped that. If we go to, if you can still see my screen, if I go to evaluation.
Edeon, if you could just share your screen, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just need to close something. Okay, is the screen clear now?
We can see it.
Visible? Okay. So this is evaluation for grade 7, and it's also based on 7A's natural science marks only at this stage. So what you can do, and I think because we are all used to the department setting sort of hardwiring the weightings, it is something that the system will probably incorporate. But if you look at this, you will see natural sciences grade 7, and you will see the total. We're going to take the total mark, and we for that FAT, because we're working that with a one FAT, and you see there's a algorithm here, and what we say, we take FAT 1 times 0.75. So in this case, we sort of assume that FAT 1 has a weighting of 75% or 0.75, and then if we can actually go and change it if we want to. Okay, sorry, there I maybe just jumped the gun a little bit. So if you look at the new class list now, you'll see the original mark for FAT 1. Okay, can we just mute the mics, please? Okay. So you'll see the original mark for FAT 1 for this learner was 40, and now the total is 30. So what the algorithm has done, it's actually weighted down FAT 1 to only 30 marks. And if we had other FATs, like FAT 2, for example, we will now say plus such percentage of FAT 2. So it will be written in where the weighting is done according to what the department wants it to be. But for your own interim evaluation, if you want to see how learners are doing up to a certain point, you can actually put in your own formulas, and it will kick out intermediate or mark for the learner, so that you can decide how much of the FAT will contribute to the total mark at that time. Did that answer your question, ma'am?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, if there's nothing else, I just, especially for, I know there's quite a few schools that are using the system, but we also invited a few schools that is interested and just wanted to know what the system is all about. So I'm just closing everything to the home screen. And then I want to, first of all, go to the banking, because that's on top. So the banking will give you the opportunity to, okay, I think this is the test site. I just want to move over to our school's site where it is at the moment and quickly show you how low the bank balance is. Let me just get there quickly. I'll share the screen again. I just want to get to Just bear with me for a moment. I just need to get into where I can actually show you the bank streaming before I share. Okay, sorry about that. I just need to go back in. Okay, I'm going to start talking while I'm struggling a bit to get in. But what the system offers in the banking stream is that you can actually import your banking transactions either live, or you can first, so you import directly from your banking into the banking system on RISE, and then you allocate your transactions to the correct accounts and your correct learners. So it incorporates all your finances with your admin. It also allows you to do bank reconciliations and to draft your budget and import it or do it in the system. And in that way, you can take the system all the way to your 043, which is identical to what the department requires for schools. And so the banking system is actually quite a powerful tool, and it decreases the work of your bursar or the person who is responsible for your finances quite a lot. And once again, because the system is cloud-based, it gives you a sort of a secure backup that is always there in case you lose any information on your system. Okay, are there any questions about that part? Because I just need to go into the system to share so that I can show you the rest of the features. Sorry, I'm there now. It's almost into the system. Right. I'm just sharing again. Sorry, there was. Can you see my screen now, Anna?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry for that glitch. I don't know what. So the bank stream, if I just show, it will show clear again because I couldn't get into the school system. But in here, you will import all your transactions directly from the bank. If you are not comfortable with doing that directly from the bank, you first export from the bank into Excel, and from Excel you import into the banking system and you allocate from there. If we go to the school tab, you will see that we've already done the students part, where you can do a whole lot of student administration functions like you've seen. Then we can do batch invoicing. So what you can see here, you set up your invoices with the amounts as before, and then you can batch invoice per grade. As you can see, you can load different invoices. In this case, grade R school fees is different from the rest of the mainstream school. So you create them before the time, and you can actually allocate them per class with a click of a button. Then you can do attendance. And there you also have to create your attendance register with your dates. You can also, the subjects we've looked at already. And then if we go to the home page, school. If we go to the school communicator, we've done one where you create news, and you would, for example, as we have done before, you would type in the description, you would put some extra notes in here, and you can post it and put an alert as a push notification, and parents who have downloaded the app will automatically see it in real time. The other one that you do get is an event. So you can go communicator events. And so any event, you can pick the date, and you can, in that case, for this day, you can create an event. and give some details about it, and parents will also see that on the communicator. We use it to put test dates and exam dates in, and then the parents can have the assessment dates for their children in real time on the app. Okay, you can put in your school staff, and the channels would just be that if you create a channel, you actually create it per grade. I'm not going to do it now, but if there's information that just pertains to grade 3, you will post it in the grade 3 channel. Okay, and if you look at the bottom left here, you see there's a behavior module, which means that you can create different sanctions according to your code of conduct, and then you can log it all year against the learner, and a parent can also get information. You can even email it to the parent, but you have a paper trail for learner behavior issues in case it should end up in a disciplinary hearing, and then you will be able to have a paper trail to present at the disciplinary hearing. Are there questions at this stage of anything else that the system does? As you can see here, there's your WCED report of 043, and there's no information in now, but if I run the report, you will see that it has exactly the same format as the 043 in the cash book of the department. Any questions? Okay, Ada,
Yes.
is there something that you may want to add?
Thank you so much. I see we have some questions in the chat window. So
Okay.
what I will do is I will quickly look at the questions now. Okay, there is a question about calculating the absenteeism, and is there an option to do a position in grade? So absenteeism is available. You can basically mark your attendance daily and then also pull a report for your term. So yes, if you're currently using our system, we can just show you in one of our meetings how to do that. If you are a new school and maybe would like us to show you in more detail, we can do so perhaps outside of this forum, if that shall be okay with you. I hope this answers your question. But just to summarize, the absenteeism report is in the system, and what it does basically, it calculates the amount of days that your learners were absent, and you can view it per term, because it's actually also, it falls into the marks, so it's part also of the marks module. I hope that this answers your question. All right, the next
Okay,
question.
sorry, Anna, while she was talking, I just opened the attendance module. So there you will see we have looked at term 1 for grade 1, and so you do your attendance under that, and you post and close. So you will see here, this is marked per day. So it's today's attendance that's being done, and in that way you capture your attendance.
All right, thank you for this. Okay, I hope that this has answered your question. The next question is, if the school should be interested in the program, what is the process in getting the program? So if possible, perhaps if you could just email your request to us, either to info or to Darian, and then maybe just to explain in a few sentences what your school requires. This will just give us an indication, and then we can get back to you with more information.
Okay. And can I maybe come in there?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, it is. If you want to go on the system, the earlier in the year you do it, the better, because what the RISE system does, they will import all your marks, all your information for you with your classes that's been created, and then to use the finance system and obviously get your attendance, everything that has been done on a daily basis, you will then have to start capturing from the 1st of January until where you are at the moment, which means the later in the year you come onto the system, the more there will be for you to capture to catch up to get on up to date in the RISE system. But there's this training, I think 8 hours for 2 people, and support via email, and also the fact that most of your information will be imported from Excel sheets to give you a kickstart in getting onto the system. Okay, that's my little bit.
Thank you so much. Maybe just on that, are there maybe more questions on that, or has your question been answered, hopefully? All right, let's just see. I think there is more questions. Okay, the next one is, can learner's profile and SBST fields also be included? If I may ask, what is SBST?
The SBST is a school-based support team. It is where you look at, you build up the learner's profile in terms of his academic hindrances, also behavior and social things that affects the learner's learning. And then in that school-based support team, the needs of the learner is discussed. And in a team setup, you look at an intervention for the learner. And then there's obviously, there are forms, specific forms that's filled in per learner. It's called the SNA1 and SNA2. So it is something at this stage that is not in the system, but I think it's maybe also something that could be in line of the discipline logging system where that can be done. But at this stage, there's no module for let's say, the CS component of this school.
Okay, thank you for explaining what it is about. Yes, so if it is, if you come on board and you see that the RISE system can assist you and you would like to join, what we usually do, once you are on the system and you know how it works, we will then look with you and discuss with you what this need is about, and then we can see what can be done. So currently, just like Edeon said, there is the incident and detention and all of that in the system. So we just need to see how basically to incorporate your requirements. So just to give you an example, for example, we have some schools, with the learners who get SASA grants. And what we've done for them is we included the SASA field on the learner data module. And what that means is they can just run a report and they see, for instance, how many learners get the SASA grant. For the musical center, for example, we have included additional fields for the schools that their learners come from. And they can also run a report, and that can just give them a very quick overview, as well as other information, that is just specific to that school. I hope that this answers your question. All right, so the next question is cost of the program. So as I have said previously, perhaps if you could just email your request and just in a few sentences what your school requires, and then we will get back to you. Okay, I hope this answers your question. The next one is, will there be training for the use of this system? Yes, so training is quite a big component, of our services, because training makes sure that you know the system, you can work with it, and also it works for your school. So just like as Edeon has said, we include 8 hours, for the main package, and then there are also additional hours for your extra users. But even on the ongoing basis, once your training is done, we still have regular meetings depending where you are with the implementation at your school, to make sure that your questions are addressed and your queries are basically also addressed. I hope that this answers your question. All right, the next one is, I think it's a direct question to me, but probably it was meant to be sent to everyone, but it's basically asking how we calculate the absenteeism per term and, for example, the final term calculations of the total for all the terms, is there an option to do a position in grade, and can it be indicated on the progress report? Okay, just like I've mentioned, it is in the system. This report is in the system. I suspect that this is coming from one of our schools, the existing schools, so we can just show you in our meeting. But if it's from the new school, we can also have a look perhaps outside of this forum, but there is such a report that shows you the absenteeism per term. All right. I hope this answers your question. Okay, the next one is, what is the cost for special schools for this program? We don't have FET marks. It will mainly be used for the class lists and reminders of school fees, or 43. Okay, let me just answer this bit. Just like I've said previously, yes, if you can just email us a request with a bit more information, what you require, and we will get back to you. It is fine if you don't use FET marks because, as mentioned, you know, the system is made in such a way that it assists schools on a case-by-case basis. So if you would like to use it for your class lists and the financial side of things, that is fine. And yes, you can send reminders with regards to the school fees also. Okay, and then the next one is, most of our parents can read or write. We send voice messages. Can this communicator make provision for the voice notes? Okay, so with the communicator, you can create any type of communication, either via the text. You can also attach a PDF, or you can also add a link. If you have this voice message maybe stored on the drive, you can just include the link, and then your parents can just listen to that message. Okay, I hope this answers your question. All right, I see a direct message. Yes, that will be fine. Okay. And then there's a next question. If you do the attendance on this program, is that enough for the department, or must a hard copy also be completed every day? Edeon, can you maybe come in there? Because just from my knowledge, we have schools who do attendance on our system, and I think they're also required to do it on the department side. But I'm not sure if they actually import the information then from our system into the departmental form. But I'm sure that you can do that, because you can import information out of the system quite easily.
Okay, Anna, can I maybe come in? At
Yeah,
the
sure.
moment, with the screening for COVID, the screening actually feeds into the system automatically to give the attendance of the learners. If it's not in pre-COVID times, without screening, all schools had to do their absenteeism online as well. Either teachers could do it on their cell phones in class and post it directly, or in some cases, teachers send a physical record to the secretary, and the secretary captures everything before 10 o'clock. Then, because that is already online, the system of the department generates a QLAR, quarterly learner absentee report, and the principal signs it off. So I think it will be to put your absenteeism on this system, we'll pull it into your reports and make it, you can be able to print out the reports, but the department requires us to capture the absenteeism on the online system so that it is live and available. I think by 12 o'clock, they look at daily absenteeism, and it all gets pulled into, for a term, it gets pulled into that report that the principal signs off. I don't know whether that answers your question.
Thank you so much. Perhaps if okay, great. They replied yes, thanks. All right. Okay, we do it. Yes, thank you so much. We do it electronically, but we must have a hard copy at present. Fantastic. If it is great that capturing on the system is enough, yes, Thanks. All right. If you have more questions, you can also just unmute your microphone and ask your question, and then we will hear it. Okay, in this case, I think we've shown you what we've planned for today. If you have more questions, we will leave this meeting active so that you can still type in the chat window. And from our side, we will email you the recording of this presentation, just in case maybe you've missed some bits. But otherwise, thank you so much for attending this forum and for pertinent questions. And we wish you a nice day. And Edeon, thank you so much again for the informative presentation and for your...
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
I see there is one more question. Okay, let's just see. Okay, most of the parents will have no data because some are not working. We have tried before as a phase to form WhatsApp groups, but most of parents left it because of the data issue. Yes, we get this question quite often. So just something to remember. So when you post on the communicator, your parents only basically use the data just for that specific post. And the post, as long as they don't open it, it doesn't really take the data. They need to open the actual post that you have created. So it is quite light on the data in terms of the amount it consumes. But I hear you, and we get these questions quite often. On a brighter side, you know, we have a number of schools whose parents come from previously disadvantaged, how to say it, yeah, areas and backgrounds. And surprisingly, like many schools actually get it right, and a lot of parents do come on board. So it's just also about that kind of communication between your school and the parents, and making sure your parents understand why they need it, and also communicating to them that this app, you know, is not heavy on data. Because just to tell you, with WhatsApp, all of your communication, because you've got various types of groups and people, all of that data consumes, all of that information consumes data. Whereas the difference with the communicator is that only what your parent opens will take some data. I hope I'm making it clear. I hope that it's understandable what I'm trying to say.
Anna, can I maybe also just add something?
Sure.
We have the same problem to an extent, but because the RISE system shows you exactly which parents have the app, you can actually see it on the system. Then you save on printing and paper, in the sense that if per class you have 40 learners and say 24 of them have their parents on the app, you give the physical printed notification only to the learners who are not on the system. So, and then what we do also have the problem of people on WhatsApp, people just leaving the groups, but to some extent you save some money in terms of your printing if you keep a record on who's on the communicator and who are not. And then I see there is a question about protection of marks. Do you want to answer that, or that will be the same for the learner statements? There's a question that says, on the communicator, will my child's marks be protected when the teacher loads the group marks on the system?
Yes, if you would like to answer, you can.
Yes, the system uses authentication, where it is a combination of information. Initially, it was the child's ID and the child's CMIS number, so that when the parent links the child to their app profile, that parent can see general information that has been posted on news and on events and in the different channels, But when it comes to your financial statement, your school fee statement, and your report, it will only see that child's information. It cannot see another child's information. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you so much. And just to add to that, we have also created, it's called linking attributes. Basically, it enables your school to decide which fields your parents will fill in when they link themselves to the financial information of their children. This is for additional security and also to accommodate schools that, for example, maybe do not use SIMS number. Or if you would like to include, so for example, you can select name, surname. So your parent will need to enter name and surname of the child, of their child, and then you can decide if they need to enter, for example, their ID number or the SIMS number or the birth date, you know. So that is in place. And also on the schools front, you can also link your parents to the financial information. So it's done in both ways. And this also enables you to basically be in charge of that. Yes, and when your parents download the app, you will see it. You see who has downloaded, what is their cell phone number and their email address. And the email address is 100% correct because when they register on the app, they need to verify themselves. So just like, you know, you do with your bank, you know, when you confirm that via email, so you get your email and then you just use that one-time password. So you do that on our app as well, just to make sure for security reasons. Okay, I hope that this answers your question. All right, so if you have no more questions, we will wrap up. But as I've mentioned, this meeting will be open in case maybe you have a question at a later stage, so you can type it up. But otherwise, thank you so much and have a great day further. And thank you, Edeon.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.